Today's episode is sponsored by one of my favorite rap labels, Front Row Regale. Started by my good friend Rock City Mark, legendary rapper Ito, and Jay Rios, they are the go-to for real hip-hop. Make sure to check out the whole team, including DJ Doo-Wop, Jay Black, Nice to Future, Boo Boo the Prince, Reno RX, and Uwop Diggs. Follow Front Row Regale on all platforms and check out the new New York by Ito and DJ Doo-Wop out now.
Yeah.
You say like?
And I'm a mouth breather. That's the bad thing about being a professional podcaster is I breathe out my mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're constantly like moving the microphone around?
Yeah, or like I'll be listening back. You'll be like,
I don't know if it's a tiny bit of mushrooms I ate, but you're making me conscious of my breathing now.
and you with the headphones on, it's like in your ear.
Now that's all I'm listening to.
But
I'm
like,
am I breathing heavy? And now I can't tell what the fuck is going on. So I'm like,
or I hit the bong and now I feel like a little bit wheezy. So I'm like,
I've already done this 3 times. I've done this, so I've done it at my own, then yours. But I don't know why. But I feel like Will Ferrell.
you also did eat mushrooms.
Not a lot though. I'm not like tripping.
Yeah, but you ate a good amount. Like if I ate the amount you ate, I'd be like,
yeah. Do you remember in Maine though when we had the lemonade?
yeah, at that
tripping your balls off.
Yeah, we went to.
I drank like twice. Like you drank like a third of the cup. I drank like 2/3 of the cup.
But I was tripping.
I wasn't. I was like, I'm like, I guess I feel it a little bit. The only time it really kicked in was when the dude was following us back to our Airbnb. We thought we were being like, I was just like, look, because I get this whole like, I don't know, maybe I watch too many movies, but it's like, I get in the sticks. I'm just like, some fucking hick family is gonna fucking.
Oh, you watched like
U-Turn or
The Hills Have Eyes or some shit.
I don't watch those movies, but I legit get that weird anxiety when I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
I was followed home once because I cut a guy off in traffic, and then I was like, wait, he's taking some weird turns. And then I was pulling up my road.
Like,
I didn't get to my driveway yet, and I'm like, wait, he's actually following me. And then I pulled a U-turn, and he pulled a U-turn, and then I was like, oh fuck! And I had to drive to the police station. Honestly,
but that's why I reverted to I'm like, all right, what would my brother do in this situation? Because all right,
what would Jesus do?
No,
what would your brother do?
He's the type of, he's into that more all right, I don't want to say prepper. That's a weird way to say it, but he owns an AR. He's into like getting proficient with it. And also what do you do in certain scenarios, I guess, you know what I mean? Like be prepared for, worst case scenario. Like it's like the grocery store. If you have to, if you're someone who has a license to carry and you carry, concealed carry. Like if you're smart, you know how to operate that weapon, you know how to use it. You're not just carrying for the sake of being protected, and then when some shit pops off, you drop it, you're fumbling around and dropping it. You want to have some level of proficiency. So he practices things like that. And so I started thinking to okay, how would Sam think in a situation like this?
Not me, Sam.
No, my brother.
I know, but
right. Okay, sorry. And so then I was like, all right. I was like, look, if fucking he pulls into the driveway with us, just don't get boxed in. Just don't get in a position where we're boxed in, because we can just drive away and drive back to the party or weird shit. But then the guy just pulls into his house, and we're like, oh, we're fucking fine. But you were tripping ball sack.
Oh, I was tripping. So I was talking to a friend
and it
recently.
made me anxious. That made because I already I'm trying to deal with these thoughts. Let's just
say this happened 7 years ago, but I was also there was a lot going on. Yeah. It was a hallucinogen festival.
Yeah,
and I was hosting the comedy portion of it, and I had to drive us all home. And it was funny. There were two.
You and me that went back to
right,
Airbnb.
but there were two groups of people.
Yeah.
at the comedians.
Yeah.
There were the comedians that were tripping.
Yeah.
And the comedians that were coked out of their mind.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And it was like the house was divided into like...
It's like, you don't get where we're... my mind's and they're like, you don't fucking get where we're at right now, right? Like, I'm just trying to fucking have a conversation about what we just did. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool, and I just want to... And we're just like, I'm just trying to fucking watch the wall move, bro. Like, I'm just trying to...
I was just talking to a friend. I was like, it's so easy to find a gun, and they're like, only for you because you hang out with the people you do. They're like, to the normal person it's not that easy to find a gun.
No, you end up like fucking Jason Bateman and Charlie Day and them in Horrible Bosses.
Yeah, that's
recruiting. What the fuck was the guy's name? It's Jamie Foxx's character. But what was
Did
his
you
name, dude?
see on the news recently? There was an article that said this guy was trying to hot fire and find a hitman to kill his son.
Really?
And he accidentally called up a real like cleaning service, like a real vacuum service.
He thought it was like
tried to solicit them.
He thought it was the cleaners.
Literally, he did off like Craigslist, and he was like speaking in codes, and then finally he was like, "Yo, will you murder my son?"
But who told him who told him to contact? Like, why
he found it on like Craigslist or something?
I guess my point is, what gave him the implication that these cleaners are the cleaners?
I don't.
I just winked at him. I don't know if you can see that. On the you know the air quotes wink. Cleaners.
He was just watching Breaking Bad, and he's like,
yeah, like.
But I do see businesses like that.
The type of person that would try to hire someone to kill their son.
Yeah,
is
online.
that fucking stupid. Dude,
yeah, people are dumb as fuck. But
so
do you ever see
dumb.
businesses and you're like, that's definitely a money laundering scheme?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way this vacuum business is still around in 2023.
Okay, I'm gonna go way. It has nothing to do with mushrooms. I'd just be high as fuck on weed, and I'd have the same thought. But just, I wonder how any business is doing business anywhere with their location. I'm like, how is this jeweler on Route 28 and on Cape Cod ever have, like, maybe they did a couple of sales, but how do they have like enough business regular? Never.
But I feel that way about this podcast. Like, I literally am shooting on a webcam in your apartment, and the microphones microphones are about to be nicer. Yeah. But handheld handheld microphones. Handheld microphones. But I get more listens than people who like have big backings and shit.
But that's perspective, because I think about, well, I am a small business owner. I was just having this conversation with my brother yesterday where he was like, he's like, your company wouldn't, or you know what I mean? Like, he said company. I was like, man, think of it like that. Like, I have a company. Yeah. Technically. I mean, it's just me and him. Yeah. And I freelance, and I do, I get some jobs here and there. I help my buddy, like, subcontract or work for him when I'm not busy and he needs work. So I don't know how to run a business either. So I'm like still figuring all that shit out.
Do you have an S Corp or an LLC?
It's a DBA, which I think I need to make it an LLC. It's a conversation
that we shouldn't have on the pod.
No. Yeah,
get into the legality of your...
You know what we're going to do? Now is a perfect time to to give you
all right.
the fucking...
I would love if some auditor was like, had to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, all your auditor fans out there.
Yeah, all my auditor. Yeah,
they love crunching numbers and fucking Kanye, the West Side Gun.
That's so funny. You did have... There was one thing you said you wanted to do on this podcast.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give you the gift. Yeah,
he said he had
but I wanted to
shout out Thacher Wood. I don't give intros on this podcast, but Thacher told me he had a present for me that he wanted to give on the podcast.
So, all right, let me just say, it's like a Christmas present. I'm a gift giver. That's what I do. I like take pride in it. And at this point, I think I'm like all time. You know what I mean? Like, if there was like a gift giving competition, like I would definitely make it through locals and regionals and like, or states regionals. I'd make it to, nationals, and probably, be competing for the championship, I think.
Of gift giving.
Of gift. Oh, yeah, for sure, dude.
He's given chlamydia to 36 women.
Yeah. And I give great head.
You'll get good head, but you'll also get chlamydia.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
You better weigh out the pros and cons.
The pros and cons, baby. Pros and cons. So, all right. So, anyway, like getting Christmas presents, like I already had the idea of a Christmas present to get for you, but financially it was like, all right, I already bought everyone presents, and then it was like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna. So I had it like ready to go, and then even the process of like getting it was like a back and forth. Like I had to get
it. It's a gun.
Oh, yeah. I had to. You have no idea the channels I had to go through to get this.
You could have just asked me. I know how to get one very easily.
But I've always liked the idea of these things, and I've always like thought that it'd be cool if I had one of my own. But you can't just get one for yourself. It's not something you get for yourself.
Is it a baby?
No, they have. So when I give it to you, I guess they'll make more sense. But like, it's something you get with like a giveaway, right? So it's like be fucking Bobby Orr Day, and you get one of these as like a present, or like it'd be fucking Pedro Martinez Day at Fenway. And
I don't know if I'm high or I'm just.
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
Oh, good. But people, once they see it, they'll get it, right? But okay. I've always liked the idea of like having one of my own. But you like what?
It sounds like a child. It sounds like you're giving me a child.
Just start opening it. We might have to find a knife, but be careful though. It's like super fragile, dude. You cannot fucking just rifle through that thing and rip it open. But I've always like.
Do you have a knife?
I do. I'm getting one. One sec.
All right. This is why we're about to have wireless mics. I knew this was coming. We're about to have wireless mics on the podcast, and then Thacher will be able to get knives while he gives presents.
That's really what the wireless mics are all about. You want to be able to grab knives while you give presents. So I've always liked the idea of having one of these, but you need a reason to. And I feel like Sam, at this point in his career, has earned the right to have one of these. And so I thought that would be the perfect present to give. And that's why.
Are you sure it's not a baby in here?
It's not a baby. Okay. It's a Russian nesting doll, everybody. Dude, I know you're anxious, but seriously, fucking be careful. Like, seriously, be super fucking careful with that thing. It is, like, very fragile. The sound effect. This is the ASMR part of the thing for everybody. I wish it was.
You got to tell a story or something.
I know. I was doing it. I was trying to fill time, and I was doing all right at the beginning. So I was talking about like why, like I think they're cool and shit. And then I basically finished the story. I was like, oh, and now I feel like he earned it because I thought you were almost at the point where you're about to open it up, but I forgot how fucking much they wrap it because of how fucking delicate it is. You just got to be super careful with the top part there. I'm so excited, dude. It's hilarious. Like, you're going to laugh your head off when you get it.
Oh my God.
So what is it, Sam Buck? For the fans at home.
It's a bobblehead, a bucked up bobblehead.
It's a bucked up bobblehead, everybody. I got Sam a bucked up bobblehead.
I have to be super safe with it.
Oh, yeah. I might have a protection plan. I think I did. I don't know. I can't remember if I did or not. But, yeah. Merry Christmas, bitch. Custom.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I had to, like, get it approved and then go back and forth.
And it has the Greetings Earthlings hoodie on it.
You
which
fucking
is
know it, bitch.
The Conway album I'm on.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been... You gotta like custom, dude. It wouldn't have been a custom gift if you didn't fucking customize it.
This is incredible. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, dude. You fucking earned it. I feel like everything you've done over the last couple of years, like all the hard work, like now you have something to symbolize it right there. And hold on.
I want to hold him up to the camera.
Yeah, you should do that.
This is incredible. Thank you so much. Absolutely incredible.
I got 2 more.
What? There's more of them.
There's more.
This is dope as fuck.
They're like gremlins, dude. They just fucking multiply. My guy. So
I love that. He's gonna sit right here for the podcast.
So I thought, at first I thought like, okay, you can give one away to your favorite guest that you've had over the past 2 years. Or pretty much I was like, I got one for Richard Buck, your dad, because he's the man. I know how supportive he is. And then I was like, and then you can like give one away to your like favorite guest or whatever. Like they have the specs. I could order more too. So it's funny, we were talking about giveaways and shit like that. You could do like a bobblehead giveaway. Maybe
that is dope as fuck.
Try to maybe see if we can get fucking amazing bobbleheads to sponsor the Bucked Up podcast, and then somehow like
they do like custom bobbleheads.
Custom. So I basically had to send them like a headshot and a profile pic, and then describe how I want it. I was like, I want Yeezys, I want jeans, and the sweatshirt has to say "Greetings, Earthlings." And they fucking sent me a couple specs, and they had the mic like down here. So like I sent it back. I was like, just move the mic up. It's fine. Make it. And they sent me back. They're like, everything has to make sure it goes through approval. But so it's like, it was like a
thank you very
multiple step approval process.
Dope as hell.
But
I can't wait to put that in. I'm going to have that next to my bed, which is this is a little inside baseball.
You do have a lot of fucking crazy.
But it's going to be on the Zoom podcast, which is on my nightstand.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I was like,
I do my Zoom podcast right next to my bed.
Yeah, you got some like artwork that people have made for you and whatever. I was like, you need a nice little.
I need the ball. I have nothing like that.
But that's my point. Is like it's Bobby Orr bobblehead day at TD Garden or like at Fenway.
Yeah, I was like, what is he talking about?
It's like Pedro Martinez bobblehead day, and I'm like, bobbleheads are fucking cool. Like, it would be dope to have your own bobblehead.
The bobblehead is fantastic.
But I can't just make a fucking Thacher Wood bobblehead. Like, what justification? What have I done with my career? You know what I mean? That's in my mind. I'm like, what the fuck have I done?
You like doing construction?
Yeah.
With your business?
Do I like doing it?
No, I'm saying you could have a bobblehead of you.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I do have?
Roofing.
You know what I do have? I have this duck that Sam Buck gave me with a little construction hat.
This is just becoming the nice podcast.
This is the nice guy podcast. Whatever. Oh, you want to go? So now let's switch them.
Oh no, I want to hear. But I want one last nice thing. Is because I do want. I know I did it on the last time you were on, or when I was on your podcast. But I want you to tell the story of how you are incorporated into Bucked Up, like why you're such a big part of it.
Oh, I guess I was the first person to basically tell you to go for it.
Yeah.
Right? Can I take that credit?
Yeah, the day before I recorded the first episode, we were at an open mic.
Yep.
Like a underground open mic.
No Country for Old Jokes. I got the sign right there.
Exactly. And it was like pandemic. We weren't supposed to be outside, but comedians had to tell jokes. We all got together, and I said I was going to start my podcast.
Ed would invite people to his brother's like barn, which was a really cool space actually. Like you could do comedy there, like if you
and we did jokes, and everyone told me not to do the podcast. They're like, everyone's doing a podcast.
I don't remember specifically what people were saying. I just remember there being this vibe of like the people you were initially doing it with, your initial producers, just because of one particular person's reputation within like Boston comedy.
Yeah.
And then, he's toxic or this, that, or the other thing.
People just didn't want me to do the podcast.
And then, so there was that weird vibe of like, oh, should you collaborate with this guy? And I don't remember people specifically saying like, oh, I don't think you should do that. But it was like, I don't know if I would do that with him or this. And all of a sudden, it almost seemed like the conversation like veered away from you, and like there was a circle of people having a conversation about you doing whether you should do a podcast or not, and you were like standing off to the side of it almost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like that's something I noticed very, very early on in comedy, there's a lot of like, there's like, you want there to be camaraderie and support, and there is amongst the people you find are your real like roll dogs and the real motherfuckers who back you up. But there's a lot of like fake friendship, especially when certain people get to a certain level where people think they can maybe get something from you or book a show through you or whatever it is. There's a lot of real like fake support.
Yeah.
But like chit chat and like things to say behind your back. And I'm just like you and I first and foremost are friends before anything else.
One of my
like,
first friends in comedy.
In comedy, yeah. And it came from support, whereas like I happen to have a bad fucking week. We all have them where like you bomb and you're just questioning some of your material. And you came in and a joke that I had just bombed with, you were like, dude, I fucking love that. Like, it's like you couldn't wait to tell me that you loved the joke I told the week before. And like we bonded, we've been basically friends ever since. So like, yeah, first and foremost, like regardless of like your apprehension, like I feel like give a realistic perspective to people on what you might think, but ultimately like be supportive.
But I also think, not to cut you off, and I did, but it's like a lot of people didn't see where this would go, but I felt like you did.
I saw, this was after you smoked DMT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
I haven't talked about that in so long on the podcast.
So I can tell you right now, and anybody listening, that like without him even telling me, there was very clearly a shift in your mindset. Like there was just, I knew something was different about you without you even saying it. You had just this like different sense of like direction and purpose. It's like you just went from inside of like a few months period. Like you went from like you just got broken up with, you had a whole bunch of shit going on. Like you were unsure, like kind of like you knew you wanted to do comedy. You were thinking about maybe like we always talk about, hey, I'm going to start a pod. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start like we all fucking talk. All comedians talk that shit all the time. And then you went from like, no, this is what I'm going to do. I spoke to God. Well, it was Buddha actually. And she told me that fucking you like answered your questions, you know? And I was like, man, dude, I was jealous. And I've always been jealous because I say this. I'm turning 40 in a couple weeks and I'm still kind of figuring it out. I know I want to entertain people. Like I know that's what I'm best at. That's what was put on this earth to do, is entertain people in some fashion. I've realized more recently that I like talking. Right. And that's why stand-up's good. That's why I probably should be doing a podcast on my own, whether it's me by myself, interviewing people. It doesn't matter, dude. I can fucking talk. I can sit here and talk. Just nudge me, dude. I'll fucking have the conversation the rest of this whole podcast. But yeah, I saw that focus and that I knew something was different about you. And like, regardless of all that shit, dude, you're a friend. You're just a friend. Just be a fucking supportive friend. So in that moment, to go back to this long-winded story, in that moment, all of a sudden, like you were like removed from the conversation, but the conversation was still about you. And I basically was like, dude, fuck these guys. Like, if you want to do a podcast, go do a podcast. Like that's what you want. You got to do what you want, regardless of what anybody thinks about you, whatever, because that's what's going to make you happy. That's one thing I have trouble doing, you know, is like doing the things I really want to do. And a lot of it's, you know, you get financially restricted from doing things. Like you have times where you're, I guess confidence would waver a little bit because like financial struggles, that happens at every level you get to though. You hear like pros, like whether it's podcasts or comedians or everybody, when you hear them talk about their life's adventures, like it doesn't matter what level you get to, you're always going to have like the anxieties and feel like you're not doing enough or doing more, this, that, and the other thing.
I don't think people know how much like I struggle. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because they see, nobody ever sees, because that's real inside baseball. Those are the documentaries I want to see. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of want to get a film crew together and start. Maybe I'll start doing it. Stop talking shit, but like follow your story, because I even suggested it, and maybe we'll do it another time, but I suggested doing a reverse Bucked Up where I'm the host interviewing you, because people only get to see you interviewing these rappers and whatever, but they're really like, they're not necessarily, especially like your fans, the people who follow you as fans, they're kind of watching how you interact with these people. Like the guest is secondary, and obviously like a more like sought after, a more like high profile guest, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely watching that. But it's more about you, right? And so how cool would it be to have like the Sam Buck documentary? Like that's the shit that I've always grown up in. Like I want to have it'd be cool to do movies and cool to be famous, but I want to have like, I think like as like kind of plain as it seems sometimes, I think I have an interesting story. The way I grew up, that my parents, like whatever. So the VH1, I'm almost 40 guys, sorry. The VH1 behind the music of my story, you know, the black and white where they do like reenactments with actors of like this certain scenario.
Who do you want to play you?
Well, that's a good question. I would want to.
And who plays your parents?
I'm so narcissistic. I would be like, I'm still look young enough. I could play myself. Like that's the thing. Like Howard Stern. Like Howard Stern played himself in the Howard Stern story, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody else can be me. Like you, it's got you. I don't know.
It's not narcissistic that you want to play yourself. It's narcissistic that you don't think anyone's a good enough actor to play you.
Fair enough. I realized as I was saying it, it's like, because I was just about to say,
I'm too good. No one can play me.
Nobody can be me but me. That's what I was about to. And I realized,
someone played Jesus.
I realized as I was saying it, like, yeah,
Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles, and he didn't have to actually blind himself.
He's really, really good. He's a really good actor. Yeah, but yeah, I guess all right.
Who plays your parents?
Well, who plays my parents? That's a good one.
Ken Jeong and Kathy Bates.
Patrick Swayze. Not Patrick Swayze.
Patrick.
The other one. I always get him confused. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid would play my dad. Have you met my dad? Dennis Quaid would play my dad.
You don't think Ken Jeong would be
Dennis
good?
Quaid, or I've always thought my dad reminded me a lot of like Harrison Ford. My dad's like a Han Solo. Like he's cool as shit. He kind of looks.
He's more Han Solo than Indiana Jones.
That's a tough one. That is, yeah. Definitely.
At home, play the game. Is your dad Han Solo or Indiana Jones? And if you don't have a dad,
sorry.
Then you're what's another?
Is your mom more of a Han Solo or Indiana Jones?
What's another shitty Harrison Ford movie?
It's the one where he's the president.
Oh, up on the plane?
Yeah. Give me back my... There's like always the Family Guy jokes. So like every movie, he's just like, give me back my family.
Oh, like Taken? That's not
No, he was the original. Like it was a bunch of different ones where he's just like, his family's always getting kidnapped. Because he was in the Tom Clancy movies where he played Jack Ryan. And they fucking kidnap... Both of them, they kidnap his family. And then he's also... Was that him or was it
You got to
Tommy Lee
stop
Jones?
Kidnapping old white guys' families.
Dude, they will fuck you up, dude. They know more karate.
If you want to see an old white guy do some shit, kidnap his family.
They're old for a reason. They made it that long for a reason. That's actually... There's a... fucking...
But also, it is crazy.
My whole life is just movie references. That's all you're going to get in this is just movie references this whole time.
The guys that are the toughest are supposed to be the most protective always get their families kidnapped. It's like, you're not that good at your job. Yeah. Your family, like, you trained your whole life and your family still get kidnapped.
Yeah, it's like
you know what I mean? It's like you
didn't work in that contingency into the
like the dude who is a fucking accountant doesn't learn how to protect. His family never gets kidnapped.
Actually a great, if you really pay attention, it's a great like message for like American culture. It's like, listen, we're not, because the family's always like at home in North Carolina, fucking on the beach.
If you're training MMA right now, I guarantee in 3 years your family's getting kidnapped.
But that's the point. Is like, yeah, it's just gonna happen.
It's just gonna happen
because you're too focused on the job.
Yeah,
you should have been more that's the point. You should have been more focused.
Every time you throw a punch or a kick, it adds to a little meat. You know how they have like raising money for the library?
Yeah.
Terrorists have that for every single one of you. And every time you throw a punch or kick, they draw that little red line in.
No, it's like a probability scale. It's like the more you just do this, the higher.
And when you get your black belt, they're at your front door that same day.
Yeah. Yeah, the more
your family's gone.
The more you go out ice fishing, the higher probability you have that you're going to drown in the fucking lake. So it's like every punch, every kick, it's like that. The probability that your family's
the terrorists
are
watching.
The probability that your family's going to get kidnapped is going.
Another fact: terrorists have inside video cameras in every single MMA gym in America.
Really? I forgot the fucking storyline. I forgot the
Thatcher's tripping too hard.
I'm not tripping.
He's tripping so hard he can't do the improv bit with me.
No, I forgot the through. I was like, yeah, no, but that made sense. It like made sense in my head. I was like, yeah, they have hackers. It's like Russian bots and all that fucking. Of course.
All I'm saying is, be lazy, protect your family.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. It's all about family. Like,
if you're lazy, your family's safe.
Vin Diesel knows it's all about family. Everybody knows that.
Vin Diesel, laziest motherfucker I know.
Yeah. Everybody thinks he's just naturally that fit.
Is Vin Diesel fit though? I've never thought of Vin Diesel as fit.
He's
fitter than me, but I've never looked at Vin Diesel and been like, that's a fit guy.
No, he's one of those. You know what it is? None of them are really that fit, dude. You can get into shape.
Vin Diesel looks like Nosferatu.
If they're like, we cast you for a movie. It shoots in 6 months. We need you. It's like, dude, all right, cool. Then they just fucking do nothing. They eat nothing and do nothing but work out 4 times a day for 4 months before the movie, and then they look good, and then they go back to looking like Leo at the beach, dude.
I want to be an actor, but only if I can get the roles where I have to get fatter.
Yeah.
Pay me to eat. Dude, I'll be an actor. I'll win an Oscar if you pay me to eat.
I would love that. I wish. Well, that's
Fuck you, Brendan Fraser.
That's kind of how Hollywood is, dude. Chris DiStefano has that bit he tells on podcasts all the time. He's like, they told me, they're like, you have leading man face, best friend body. And I was like, oh shit, I think that's been like almost every casting call that I've ever had. They're like, yeah, you can't do it.
You don't have a leading.
Yeah, I do.
Thatcher, you don't have leading man face.
I used to when I went to the casting calls back in the day.
You have local theater everything.
Yeah, I do.
You play the bully, the asshole in a local theater production.
No, I'm like, what is it? Not the lead. What's like just the second lead or whatever.
You're the gay best friend.
Yeah, but that's the point. Is like I've never been that fit where they're just like we don't know what the fuck we can do with this.
How much do you weigh?
Extra. Now, I don't know. If I got on the scale, I'm guessing I'm over 170.
That means I weigh 100 pounds more than you.
And probably 170 something because I'm at a little last year. But here's the thing: my whole life I've been like 189, 190 something, and then that one real like kick-ass regimen.
That one AIDS diagnosis really got
one AIDS, dude. Once you get
one AIDS diagnosis,
one immune deficiency, and my metabolism just was like
one slip up.
No, I think you can like retrain your metabolism because I used to have a shitty metabolism my whole life, and now I still kind of like eat like shit, but I don't gain as much weight as I used to because of like that one crazy.
Shouldn't have gotten so drunk that one night.
Yeah, well, you know.
Now you have an immune deficiency.
We all have that statement. We all have made that statement.
And it's from sharing needles. It's not from homophobic reasons.
You know what's cool is we've gone this far and I still haven't even told that story.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Thatcher was about to tell me a story about him getting his car stolen, and then I was like, don't even tell me.
I've been trying to light this.
Save it for the podcast.
We left the lighter over there. You got to get the lighter, and then I'm going to tell this fucking hilarious story of my friend.
You got your car stolen.
I got my car stolen. Why I say friend? I don't want to insult this person.
Just tell me the story.
Acquaintance, peer. But we went to.
You tell stories like you work at Joann Fabrics.
I tell stories like Tarantino too. Sometimes they start in the middle, so you just got to keep up.
And there's a lot of mentioning of feet in them.
Yeah, and I might say the N-word a few times. Just let me
don't wear. Hey, if you want to learn something from this podcast, don't wear open-toe shoes around Thatcher.
Why did I? What did I? Yeah. Like Tarantino. Toes. I worked Tarantino into a toes bit at one point. I had the thing about toes.
Toes Tarantino. Quentin Toes Tarantino.
No, it was like nobody wants to. It was like seeing Toes at Dunkin' Donuts in February. It's like, dude, nobody wants. Maybe Tarantino wants this, but nobody wants to fucking see those. Toes should be like white pants, dude. Like, I don't want to see him after Labor Day. It's stupid. It's a shitty fucking throwaway joke that I did 4 years ago.
Was that a Chris Stefano podcast bit too?
Fuck you, Sam. The fucking roast master general's in the house, dude. Just because I gave him one compliment a couple hours ago and saying he would be good at roasting people, now he's just gonna fucking start ripping into me because I made a reference. That was a good reference that I made earlier.
Like a fucking joint.
Are you not allowed to talk about other podcasters on your podcast?
No, there's no podcast inception.
All right.
No one wants to listen.
You were at this show.
No one wants to listen to this podcast enough.
So Sam was at this show. It was at the Clean Anchor show that we did. You were.
Oh, where I opened up for Jim McHugh.
Opened up for Jim McHugh.
I had a good set that night.
You had a very good set that night. I think I had an okay set. Jim killed it. Shout out Jim McHugh. I didn't even know who he was until that night, but he fucking can hold a. There's a reason headliners are headliners. You learn real fast. Like, reason people are booked for headlining stuff is because they can hold, and it doesn't matter what room it is and what material they have to bring, like, they're going to hold the audience's attention. They're going to hold the room. So anyway, we're not going to mention this person's name. We're going to protect their identity. But Sam and I both know who it is, and this person gets themselves a little bit too drunk often. And definitely, like, impulse control, all that shit goes out the window. It's crazy. Like, it's just a tale that's as old as time with alcoholics or people that can't hold their booze.
This turned from a funny story to a sad story.
It's pretty fucking sad, dude.
Oh,
so
no.
We went from the Clean Anchor, where I'm sure, like, we had a couple of drinks, to then everyone went to the Red Nun to have some food afterwards to celebrate or whatever. So I bump into friends there. But I don't think that's aside from the whole story. But this person is the type of person where, like, especially if you're around comedian friends or hanging out with comedian friends, like, sometimes we have comedian friends who don't have that, like, situational awareness. They think everything's just like a show. You know what I mean? They think they're constantly on stage. They don't understand that we're away from the show now, and we're at a different venue, and we're actually out in public, and you need to, like, carry yourself as such, but they don't, and they'll just, like, inject themselves in a conversation. But this person is one, I don't know how to, I'm terrible at, like, being able to articulate it, but he's, like, wants to, like, pump you up, and it's like, he's constantly trying to, like, match people up too. Like, oh, you got to meet this person. Well, I'll give you his number, and you're just.
I just want to hear about how
it's
your
super
car got
uncomfortable.
stolen.
No, but it's like it's leading into it because it's like gets crazy. All right, yeah. You know what? I forgot we're on a podcast, and now I'm just fucking high as shit, dude. Just rambling to Sam. I forgot we're on a podcast, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, this motherfucker gets shit faced. We now go to Oliver's, right? Before we even walk in, I should have read the signs, the red flags. He goes, I don't even know if I'm going to be allowed in here because I got kicked out the last time I was here. This dude got so shit-faced, he passed out and tried to leave and fell into a bush and passed out. And was like, so the first thing he's saying when he's there is like, oh, well, sorry, but they're like, whatever, you can stay. He ends up seated between me, my friend's friend, and then my friend. And, like, proceeds to just, like, chit chat this guy, because this type of personality cannot help himself. He's chatting this guy up all night long. This guy wants nothing to do with him. At one point, I hear the guy go, all I said was, you're not funny. You know what I mean? Because he's like, we're comedians. This, you know, he's like, we're comedians. This guy's super hilarious. You gotta. And then it's like, as soon as you tell a comedian they're not funny, now it's like, oh my God. But he didn't know how to leave this fucking guy alone. And at one point, it gets to this guy would, like, just crumple this person up in their hand, like, big guy. Don't fuck with this guy. But at some point, all of a sudden I hear, I'll fucking knock you out. He's telling the guy he's gonna knock him out. I'm like, oh my God. So he gets kicked out of the place. Gets kicked out of this place. And this is on one of those nights here when it was like 10 degrees outside, right? So it's like, I can't let I'm his ride there. He doesn't have a car. Like, he lives nearby, but I can't just let him wander off into the fucking wilderness like shit face. He's gonna pass out in a ditch and die, and it's gonna be partially my responsibility. So I just got a fresh beer poured for me. I'm just like, I'll fucking be right back, dude. And I go to like find him. And he had like gotten his stuff out of the back of my truck and thought he was on his way home. He was in between my car and a rock and the fence between the establishment's property and the next, like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He would have passed out and died in the cold right there. And I don't know if I started my truck like I'm going to be giving him, I don't know what it was, or I'm going to start it and like so it stays warm. I started my truck and then was like, hey buddy, like get in, just chill for a second. And then I went to go back inside to pay for my beer, finish my beer, whatever. But I'm like, if I leave him in here, he's going to freeze to death in the fucking car in like 20 minutes or whatever. I just wasn't going to leave him in the cold because he's going to pass out. I wasn't going to leave him in my car in the cold. So I left it running. Someone's like, you could have left automatic start, but that would have been 5 minutes. I don't know, whatever. Just dumb shit you don't even think of until you're like, oh my God, I can't. So I left my keys in the car with it running, with the heat on, so he wouldn't freeze. Went back in, was like, hey dude, sorry, I had to chat with the guy. Sorry about all this shit. Finished my beer, pay for it, chit chat, and I'm a little buzzed, so I didn't realize maybe 15. It doesn't even matter how much fucking time went by. I'm thinking he's gonna pass out in the passenger seat. When I went to go outside, my fucking car was gone. Truck gone.
He doesn't have like a little car that's easy
I have
to
a
drive.
truck. I have a Chevy 50. I mean, it's a 1500, but it's a Chevy Silverado. Like, it's a fucking truck, dude. Yeah. I mean, nothing's easy to drive when you're shit-faced. My brother was saying, though, he's like, it's this thing with alcoholics or whatever. They will sober up just enough to, like, complete a task. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, fucking change their kid or fucking drive home. And by the grace of God, and this is the text that I sent to him, I go, just so you know, you just stole my car and drove it back to your brother's. Because, okay, so then this is not the end of the story. So Abby's like, I fucking remember seeing a red truck fly by. Like, I thank God this person lives only a mile or so away. Because if it was like a ways away, like there's no way he wouldn't have fucking smashed my truck or hit somebody or whatever. I don't know how the fuck he made it back. Bartender gives me a ride back to his house. I'm thinking I'm going to find it in a fucking tree or somebody's driveway in the side of their car. He managed to get it back to the place, parked it. And I was like, now I'm like, oh my God, now I'm going to have to go bang on the fucking door, wake his brother up to get my keys. This is going to be whatever. This dude was slumped over in the driver's seat. And I'd like wake him up and walk him inside. And so then I sent him the text and I was just like, dude, just so you know, you just stole my truck and drove it home shit-faced from Oliver's. And the only reason I'm going to still be friends with you is that by the grace of God, you managed to get it there without a scratch. And then my friends were like, can you imagine like if the insurance mess, if he hit somebody or even crashed it, and then I got to say, like, I'm literally, that's it, dude. I got to say you stole it. And then who knows? The cops come and they're going to do toxicology. Best case scenario for both of us. He would have been fucked.
That's a fucked up story. I thought it was going to be like a funny story, not at all.
It was kind of fun. Like, I had no choice but to laugh it off because it's like you kind of did it to yourself, dude. You fucking left the keys in the car. And it's crazy that your friend stole your car.
If he didn't but they say the people. They say with murders, it's someone you always know.
Yeah, the last thing I would have expected was someone to do something like this person.
It's like Scooby-Doo pulling off the hood.
Dude, as much charity as you give people and help is like whatever, rides, this, that, and the other thing, and they're like, oh, you're the man, I'm fucking there for you, but I will fucking steal your car and take it home if I'm just like, don't want to wait 10 more fucking minutes.
I've gotten drunk, but I've never like gotten so drunk I've like don't remember the shit I've done. I don't understand.
I mean, that's blackout, but still, dude.
But even when I black out, I still kind of remember, and I haven't.
You don't remember doing the actions, but you're still like, that's like a conscious decision to either get out of the passenger seat and walk around and get in. You got to put it in drive. You have to operate the vehicle.
You know that's not your car.
Knowing it's not your car, dude. You don't drive. You're not just like, oh, like unless you have the same exact model. You know what I mean? It's like going into a duplex and walking into the wrong apartment. I get that, dude.
Oh wait, can I tell you a story?
You know what I mean? Like that shit does
But can I
happen.
tell you a
People
story?
like go into the wrong house. But bro, there's nothing about this that feels like your car. You don't even have a car.
I was with my friend, and I dropped my glasses and they broke. It was like 2 a.m. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta go get Gorilla Glue. So we're to glue my glasses back together. So we go to a CVS. There's a 24-hour CVS. Perfect. We go in. I get the Gorilla Glue. I go to pay.
Just Gorilla Glue is great, quick fix. But if you really want to do that shit right, where you don't even have to order new glasses and like also not have the weird ass fucking gunky Gorilla Glue shit, 2P10, everybody. This is your local contractor, construction worker advice. 2P10. It's got the glue and then it has a little activating spray. That shit is like fucking concrete.
2P10.
2P10.
All right, I wish I knew that. But just all right,
shit.
so we get the Gorilla Glue.
I'm saying it's good. Informative podcast.
We go to pay, and my credit card doesn't work. I'm like, fuck! It's 2 a.m. I don't have glasses, and my friend didn't have their wallet. So I'm like, all right, go get whatever coins I have in my car. I'll wait for this. Go get whatever coins I have in my car. We'll pay for this, and we'll go. So they go. They come back and they're like, dude, you had like $10 in cash. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, oh, okay, cool. So we pay and we're leaving. And I go back to get in my car and they go to a different car. And I'm like, why are you getting in that car? We're going in this car. They're like, I took the money out of the wrong car. So they had taken, they thought that was my car. They went in the center console and found $10, brought it back. We paid for it. And then we're like, oh shit.
That's pretty funny. They went and found $10 in someone else's.
Yeah. I was like, that's not my car.
We had someone basically punk us for $10 at a pool table once in a fucking shitty part of Onset where you're like, well, yeah, you're in fucking Onset.
Oh, like sharked you?
What?
Like sharked
No,
you?
we had $10 there because we were like gonna pay for the next game, or we're gonna do like had just finished and we were gonna play another game. We just had the bill there, and we're like, what? We're gonna play the next game, and then there was also. They're like, yeah, it was one of those like we didn't take it, but if you want to have a conversation about it, we can have a conversation about it. It was like that type of thing. Where, like we knew it was happening. We just got done playing golf, 3 white guys in fucking golf attire in Onset, and then like, you know, you just run into the situation like looking like fucking nerds and getting punked for fucking. And then my friends are like, I'm just such an idiot and a man of principle. Like I was just like, come on, dude, you fucking can't like. You guys need the $10 that fucking badly? Like you need to, or is it you just want to fucking punk the nerds in the fucking bar type of thing? And like, my friend's just like, it's not worth. Like, who gives a shit? But I'm just, and I'm even like saying to them, like, it's just about the principle. You know what I mean? They're like, they can fucking hear you, dude. You know what I mean? It turns into the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, at one point, I remember, and I must have been a little buzzed up. I wasn't even like, this dude was like. It was one of those things where this dude is over here having this like riled up conversation. I'm like, oh, dude, this dude's like fucking fired up about something or whatever. So I'm like interested in what he has to say. And then ironically enough, he's probably talking about me. And but I'm just buzzed, don't even realize. And then all of a sudden he comes over and sits down and he's like, I can't remember what he said. He's like, is something up? Is like something wrong or whatever? He's like, and he starts doing the whole like, you see all these guys here? He goes, I'm the enforcer. I was just like, oh, great. This is one of those things. And I was like, I'm such a just lunatic. And I'm like, whatever. Am I supposed to be? You know what I mean? I'm one of those, like, watch too many movies growing up where it's like, I'll die on this hill. Like, I'll die for a principle. Where it's like, it's not, dude, you get older and you realize, like, dude, who gives a, just walk. It's not worth it, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm like sitting there like, is that like, I don't know, intimidate? Are you trying to intimidate me? And he's like, if I wanted to intimidate you, I'd go get my Mac 10 out of the trunk. And I'm just like, oh my God, really? Like, this is going to be one of those fucking nights? Like, are we going to get jumped? I guess I'm going to have to just fucking.
This is why you don't play golf.
This is why you don't play golf or pool and onset. Don't go to billiards and onset. It's not worth it, dude. There's plenty of pool tables around. There's way nicer establishments than fucking Stevie B's.
When I walked in, we were fucking. You were watching F1.
When I went, we were fucking.
You were watching F1.
F1's dope.
And I feel like F1 and golf are the same for me. That the barrier of entry of price is so high that it's just dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, to be a good golfer, you just have to be like, you have to have a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. I mean, you have to really want to play golf. And then there's ways that you can find to play golf. But that's the same thing with like hockey. It's the same thing with like, and then the tiers like football.
But all right, F1. Let's
Hockey's
go to
the most
maybe golf is a bad one. But
golf's
like,
super expensive.
F1.
Hockey's super expensive.
If you
That's
really
why
wanted to be an F1 racer, how much do one of those cars cost?
They're like each car's like a multi-million-dollar setup, and they crash them and have to fix them. They're like, yeah, that's probably going to cost $1 million to fix that.
That's what I mean. The barrier of entry is so high. How is that so popular?
It's popular,
like soccer.
It's worldwide popular in Europe and whatever because it's backed by fucking Saudi money. It's like there's so much money and sponsorships, all those corporate shit, and also like that was like back in the day. Like that's when you won Formula One or you won Le Mans, like the 24-hour Le Mans. Like that's how you got your brand. That's why you saw Ford versus Ferrari, right? That was
I did not.
You didn't see Ford.
No,
you got to see
and
Ford.
I did not want to.
Really?
You want to know why I didn't want to see Ford
Tell me
Ferrari?
why.
Whenever I was like, oh, so like what makes it such a good movie?
Yeah.
People would be like, the sounds.
Oh,
the
that's
car
so gay.
sounds.
No, you
Like, I don't give a fuck
No, you
about
really
cars or their sounds.
No, you really learn the backstory of what it took for Shelby to like get that car built.
I don't
You know what I
give
mean?
a fuck
And the
about
pushback.
that.
Dude, it's just a good fuck the sound, dude. You like good movies?
No.
You're such a fucking homo, dude. I know you do.
I don't.
You're like, The Whale was the best movie I have ever seen in my whole entire life.
I did like The Whale
dude.
a lot. I did like The Whale a lot.
And that's how you fucking, that was your critique of it too. It was the best movie I have seen in my whole entire life. Okay, you're telling me this guy doesn't
I wrote it on
fucking like-
Facebook.
this guy doesn't like
wrote it on
fucking
Facebook.
movies,
I
dude.
didn't say it that way.
Okay, that's an exaggeration, but it's like, oh shit, Sam really likes The Whale. And I respect your taste in movies. Unfortunately,
Fuck Ford versus Ferrari.
this
Fuck
fucking
Ford and Ferrari.
Unfortunately, this knucklehead that fucking stole my car, to his credit, has great taste in movies. He's told me some movie, like a movie to. We've had movies.
I think you're forgetting we're on a podcast again. I don't.
What are you talking about? Just a quick little fucking reference, dude. What are you talking about? Why are you getting all?
I want to talk
Why are you so
about the
insecure about the
barrier
content?
of entry.
Oh, for
in
F1? Sorry, I forgot you're the host of this fucking stupid ass fucking
This isn't
thing.
Woody Two Shoes. You
I'm
can
sorry,
check it
I'm
out.
not a
on-
fucking rapper with some amazing backstory and fucking. Sorry, guys.
I
I'm
just
working.
want to know.
How do we make interesting content?
How do you get into F1
as like a driver or as like a team?
like hey, I want to do this.
You have
Give
to
me
be
$10 million.
You have to. Well, all right. It's literally like any other sport, any other endeavor, any other business endeavor, anything that you want to do. You got to be dedicated at full blown from like the time you're a fucking baby, dude. Like,
Yeah, but the reason soccer's so popular is because the barrier of entry is so low.
Right, and also like it's
F1.
just played because if you make $30,000 a year, you're a 1%er. So everybody in the rest of the world, on average, is underneath that financially. So yeah, they go buy a soccer ball, and that's why soccer's popular around the world. Like you said, the barrier of entry is so low, so everybody plays. That's why
Who's buying F1 cars?
you can't buy F1 cars, but you can enter go-kart races You can race
Is
go-karts.
that how it starts?
It does. It literally does. You start like they start.
That's like, all right, being an F1 driver and starting with go-karts is being like, I want to be a professional golfer. Let me go to the mini golf course.
You can though. Like you can fucking learn how to putt better than anybody on a mini golf course. Like,
I would love
that scene from Happy Gilmore is not like so far-fetched that he took him to fucking putt.
Go-karts is hilarious that's how you start F1.
It's not how you start F1. You start in F3, then you go to F2, then there's minor leagues. So you have to win at those stages. It's the same thing.
That's like being like, I want to be a painter. And then you go to like Chili's and you get the children's coloring page and you start
drawing somewhere, right? But here's the thing. The cost of entry to the art galleries is who you know, how long you've been doing it, how you market yourself. It's literally the same with that. I mean, yeah. But as a kid, though, they're not going to put you into something that has more G's than fucking an F-16. You know what I mean?
The term go-kart is such a childish...
Kart racing, extreme kart, those things go fucking like 50 miles. They go fast as shit, dude. And you can really fuck yourself up. And you're exposed... You don't have that like canopy that protects you or roll bars.
You have to expose yourself?
It's like any type of racing. You have to be.
So you have to be just dick out in an F1 car.
You could be good at kart racing and go to NASCAR and who knows what. If you're a gangster ass racer, they have to know that you've been racing your whole life before they're gonna put you in a fucking $3 million car. It's the same thing as like.
All right, this is me pitching myself to Mercedes.
How do you
the Mercedes F1 team?
How do you
I go in and I give them my resume and they're like, shit, I gotta call up Jeff's Putt Palace and see what his go-kart numbers are to see if we'll hire him for Mercedes.
It's like any other sport. There are minor leagues all the way down to the like championship kart racing. Yeah, absolutely. But then once you prove yourself there, you might be one of those guys who races those fucking 4-wheel drive, like 4x4s on dirt tracks. And then you like championship and you're like, I'm going to explore. And someone puts you in a car. Like you got to win a seat in a car, right? So they're not going to just be like, hey, I think this guy like killed it on a, like it's, dude, when you, okay.
Hold on. The toilet's clogged again. Let me check his times.
The fucking.
You need another ball?
The military puts people in F-18s, right? But they start on simulators, video games. That's no different than saying a go-kart to F1. Like you have to have something that's a simulation of it. That's like no different than saying you want to train for war, but you're using paintballs. Those don't hurt. Well, you can't fucking kill people. You can't literally have people murdering each other to train them for war. So you give them paintballs, you give them airsoft guns. That's no different than a go-kart to an F1, right?
Calls up people that are like professional esports players and be like, we need you to fly drones.
Yeah, absolutely. I've thought about for sure. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Or like guys who have then transferred that into like drone skills, like winning like drone competitions. Those crazy like drone races they do now and shit. But yeah, I wouldn't.
They're probably nerds. Drone flyers.
Probably nerds. That
if you
is
fly
the most.
Drones,
hey,
you're probably a nerd.
This is the Sam Bucked Up podcast with your host, Captain Obvious.
You're probably a nerd.
You're probably a fucking nerd. You're just high as
you're
high as a kite. You're like,
imagine.
You're probably nerds, dude. It's fucking drone, dude. If you fly a drone,
well, I'm just imagining that their body count is so high of innocent civilians, but they're virgins.
They have only one type of body count. Right? Yeah. It's like
that's the long-winded way to that.
It's like the XY. It's like the XY axis for the how big. Like it's like goes from but the Y axis goes from high numbers up to
women
0
you've
to
killed, women you fucked. Yeah. And if you're a fucking drone pilot, it's just all the way. It's straight up the Y.
The further up, the more drone kills you have, the less fucking kills you have. The less fucking bodies you have in the bed. Yeah, it's a direct correlation.
Correlation.
Well, think about it. They're total recluses. How many they like rotate shifts and they got to like sign in and they're locked into these secret fucking quarters and
yeah.
Dude, that's
I don't think I'd ever be able to sign an NDA.
Do you ever think they're like in between a flight, like they just got done like whatever and their adrenaline's so high or whatever, and the drone's on the return flight on autopilot, but they're still got to wait to land the thing, right? They're locked in the their secret. You ever think they rub one out? Like they probably rub like. They probably got it.
You're calling me dumb. You're thinking about if dudes are jerking off after murdering a family of.
That's all I do. So
this dude. All right.
That's all I do. So that's what's on my mind. I'm like,
just put your. All right.
I
they
would
just
need to jerk
murdered
off.
an innocent Syrian family.
Yeah, but that's not.
They're not going to be hard as a rock.
But you're adrenaline. I gotta stop fucking with the fucking what do they call this? The muff.
You got to stop fucking with those muffs.
I gotta stop fucking with the muff, dude. I keep touching this muff, and it's messing the sound up.
I don't think after you kill a bunch of innocent civilians, you can jerk off.
I don't think you're jerking off to killing the civilians, but I think you're thinking about your wife at home or whatever. But your adrenaline is through the roof. Dude.
You kill a family and you're like, I wish I could kill my family.
I miss mine. You're just as dark of a. You're like, oh, you're thinking about jerking off. You're like, look where your brain went to, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, I'm
thinking about killing yours.
Do you actually
What's going
think
on at
it's
home,
way
Sam?
crazier to after murdering a family? I think it's more crazy to think I want to jerk off right now than I wish my family was dead.
Look, stop putting it in the context of right after murdering a family, okay? Right?
Isn't that what a drone pilot's job is?
Stop it. You're missing. We gotta
what is a drone pilot's job other than murdering innocent people?
We gotta hone in on the specifics of this conversation. It was your adrenaline is through the roof and you're locked in this room for another couple of hours before you gotta land the plane. That's it, dude.
You think
there's no prior? It's anything. That's how they live their lives anyway. You got to remove yourself from the act. It has to be segmented. You know what I mean? You got to live by the moment. You can't think about the fact that whatever they're like, is it a school? Is it a fucking chapel? Like, I don't know, dude. It's the assignment. Okay, it's just a ping on a map, dude. And then I set the thing in autopilot and I go back, dude. Completely removed from that act, right? And now it's an hour later. I just fucking ate a Snickers, dude, and had Coke, so now I got a little bit of a sugar rush. But my adrenaline's waning. But I was thinking about my wife, and right before I take a quick 20-minute nap before the alarm goes off, because the autopilot's now I'm gonna have to land the drone, and my shift's gonna be up. I don't know, maybe if I can rub one out.
I want to add another layer. These guys are nerds. They don't have wives.
That's why they're definitely now you're helping my case. You're not making more points against it. These guys, yeah, exactly. Which means they're fucking horny as shit, dude. They probably have mags in there with them. They probably rotate.
Wait, so in this scenario, you don't think mags. The government has cameras watching what they're doing?
Yeah, there's ways around that shit, dude. The military, there's so much fucking going on in the military. All the women I just heard this recently. All the women in the military are fucking.
Women everywhere. Everyone's fucking.
Everyone's fucking everywhere. That's my point. So if you're not fucking, you're jerking off.
What's different in the military?
There are ways around it.
There's two types of people in this world.
Your point
you
is,
either fuck or you jerk off.
Your point was you don't think the government's watching them? That's literally their government is their boss 24/7. The government's always watching them. Yeah, but they still find a way to fuck. You don't think they can find a way to rub one out?
You don't? Do you think anyone's ever hacked into your computer while you're jerking off?
Maybe they're not jerking off inside the box, but they're definitely fucking doing it right before they get back to their when they get back to their bunk.
You never jerked off in an airplane bathroom?
I've jerked off in a bouse house, dude. Are you kidding me?
In a bounce house?
A bouse house.
Oh, I think you said if you jerked
a fucking shitter, a fucking portable.
I thought you said you jerked off in a bounce house, and I was like, all right, I'm calling the police.
That's it. The podcast is over.
If you jerk off,
is over.
If you jerk off in a bounce house,
I'm how do you delete this shit, dude? I'm smashing your fucking laptop, dude. I didn't say that. I didn't say bounce house.
An outhouse.
Yeah.
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 That bear was thick.
Dude, listen, I was old enough to drink when I lost my virginity, and I'd been working on construction since I was
I forgot that. How old were you?
I was working construction since I was 18. I was working construction since I was 18.
You were 21 when you lost your virginity?
So there's a couple years in between while I'm working construction where I am horny as all fucking hell, dude. And
you lost your virginity at 21?
Yeah, I think I might have even been 22.
How did you do it?
Pretty savage, actually. I fucking picked up one of the J1 students that was just riding her bike on the side of fucking Route 28. And what gave me the weird confidence to do that was my buddy would just like jokingly, he doesn't give a shit. He'll shout shit out of the car to people just to make us laugh. Like one time he pulled up on a girl with special needs.
Jesus Christ.
At Stop and Shop, and he goes,
I don't know.
He goes, what are the chances of us getting some group head? And dude, I could not believe he said this shit. I was like, and she goes, oh, you're bad.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. This podcast is going to be 2 minutes long.
So the point is this dude...
I do not condone that story.
So he told me a story of him shouting some shit out to some foreign girl at like Stop and Shop or whatever, and she's like, she thought he was like offering her a ride, but he didn't like give her a ride. But I was like, oh shit, you can just like offer these bitches rides? Like, I don't know, just one of those weird things. Like, sometimes you just have these moments where you're just like, I don't know, I'm going to take a chance. Like, I'm terrible at hitting on girls. That's one part of my life because I'm like class clown. So, like, I know how to, like, interact with them and flirt with them or whatever. But then when it has to make that, like, switch to, hey, you want to, like, hang out? Like, that whole thing, it's like, I've never been good at that shift. So I've just never been good at picking up girls. So it's always kind of like weird and awkward, and just I'm like 40 years old and like still just kind of figuring out women. Like they're a fucking goddamn mystery. But the point is, on this day, I had a moment. I was like, I don't know, whatever. I drove by this smoking hot blonde girl riding her bike down 28. I knew she had to have been foreign, whatever. I mean, even if she wasn't, I didn't care. I just like swung back around. I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to take a chance. Swung back around. I pulled up alongside of her. I was like, can I give you a ride? And she goes, I can't understand. She was full-blown, like, Bulgarian J1 student working at CVS. But it was like a long bike ride from Yarmouth to Hyannis. So she actually, like, took the ride and then, whatever, flirted with her, hung out a couple times. And she was going, like, the second time we hung out, she goes, Americans are so fast. Like thinking I'm like trying to move fast, and I was like, oh, whatever, I'm trying to get laid. But then the very next time we hung out, we started kissing, and she wanted to, like, she's like, let's get in the back seat. I was like, I thought we're fast, like Jesus, I just started kissing you, and you're trying to get in the back seat already. And then went back to my apartment. And
I'm gonna say I was having a panic attack that you would have been like, I don't speak English, and then you fucked that day. I'm happy you went on a few dates.
No, we went on a few dates and stuff, and I chatted. She actually knew.
I was having an anxiety attack throughout that whole story. That I was gonna have to edit this story out.
Why? That she obviously was attracted. Like, I didn't fucking sexually assault the girl. Like, you know what I mean? Everything was consensual.
You started it off with a horrible story of your friend yelling out the window.
Why does it? But if it was a one night stand, who cares? Like, why? That would have been amazing. I pulled a girl that doesn't even speak my language. That's that's pretty cool. But no, we did hang out a few times, and she spoke like Italian too. So she spoke like 3 languages. I was like, you're way smarter than me. This fucking
yeah,
cute young girl. And then I even like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not good at like casually dating either. Like, we could have hung out a few more times. Like, I went and saw her at CVS, and I could tell she was kind of smitten. I was like, dude, she was adorable as fuck, dude. Marina, I still remember her name to this day. Of course, I can't remember what she looks like really, but I remember she was an absolute smoke show. And I was like super like. No, I had anxiety because it was like my first time. So I was like, told her it was my first time. I was like, and she goes, I don't believe you. So I was like, oh shit, but I ended up like coming in the condom, sitting on the bed, like in between like having sex and then having conversation with her. I like a total like virgin. I busted it out.
I faked my first orgasm.
Sitting. I faked an orgasm. That, by the way, I don't think girls understand how hard, if you're like wearing a condom, you can fake an orgasm because you'd be like, oh, fake thing, and then you pull out and like just turn around and go throw it away real quick and like nothing happened. But if you're not wearing, have you ever faked an orgasm not wearing a condom? Now that is a challenge.
When I was younger, probably.
That is a challenge, my
remember.
friend. I was like, I was like, I am not gonna. I knew I was like, I'm not gonna fucking. I know I'm not gonna come. How do I get out of this situation?
And I don't remember a lot of shit.
This is so embarrassing, dude. Almost every sexual encounter I've ever had has been like a comedy for me. I swear, this is how I know I'm a comedian, dude. Like all of my encounters in life are like all comedic, dude. They're all like Ben Stiller movies. You know what I mean? But I was like, I'm gonna pull out and I'm gonna spit on her back.
That's just you doing dumb shit.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's like
life really throws me weird situations, and then it's just you doing dumb shit.
It really is just me doing dumb shit, but that's why, because I don't know. I guess I'm a comedian at heart, but and I just think about, because for me, it's always like the story. I don't care if there's a funny story. I'm excited to tell. Like most people are like, I will never tell anybody about this ever. And I'm like,
give me a microphone.
I'm like, dude, I fucking cannot wait to tell everybody about the time I came in my own eye. That happened. That's that was a more recent thing too. Like, I don't know how it missed her shoulder somehow. Like it went up and over and just.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how this is possible. But when it happened, I was laughing in the moment. Like, just fucking.
You're just blind. You looked like Stevie Wonder. You're like.
Yeah, I can't. There was a bunch of jokes in the moment that were good. She had a good one-liner too, and I fucking can't remember it. I should have written it down.
Why do you have all these National Geographic magazines?
Because I thought it was cool to fill that space with those. They were downstairs in the downstairs library.
What's the dumbest purchase you've ever made?
So my grandfather had the subscription.
Yeah, I know. I'm guessing you're not buying ones from the 1980s.
No.
There's 1978. I'm guessing you didn't buy that one.
Yeah, and then you can buy the jackets with them. So I was like, this is like a library. So I'm like, gonna.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever purchased?
I mean, private dances definitely are like.
How much money do you think you've spent at strip clubs?
More than I want to admit, based on like how much money I've saved and my like social status and where I'm at and like financially in life, it's way more than I'm want to admit. That's for sure, dude. It's easy. It's in the thousands. It's definitely thousands of dollars.
Do you think it's 5 digits?
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Do you think it's over 10 grand?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's gotta be, dude. Over my lifetime. You're talking about 22 years.
What's the most you've given in one? What's the most you've spent in one night at a strip club?
That's the beauty, is I've never really gone crazy, because I also I don't have that type of. I'm not like, I'm just fucking. If I did, I would. That's the thing. If I had money to burn, I would. I would absolutely.
No one likes strippers more than you.
I do like. They're just people, dude, and they're actually interesting people to talk to when you learn the like. It also took me years and years and years to like learn how to just operate in a strip club.
While other
like
kids were doing go-kart racing, trying to be
but
F1 drivers.
I legitimately
this guy's been talking to strippers, and now he's a professional.
I had a stripper tell me I could be a pimp once, and I was like, no fucking.
Do you remember when the stripper asked me to be a pimp?
I think I don't. Well, I was there. Yeah, we were there. You told me the story where she was like, "Can I come around with you?" And fucking, I was like, "She asked you to be a pimp." I told you've been Gator your whole dude. I called it from like the moment I met you. I'm like, this motherfucker's Gator, dude. He's sneaky. You don't realize, but this dude's Gator. And forget you guys who don't know Gator is it's Will Ferrell's character and the other guys.
But this stripper,
what is it? Alter ego.
I've only been to strip clubs with you, I think. I don't think I've ever been to a strip club not with you, other than the one time I went with Nems on a first date.
Well, that's cool. But yeah, I've gotten.
We went to this dirty ass strip club in Worcester.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And the stripper, who was just ratchet as hell, was like, "Ooh, you travel around? Can I like travel with you and you collect my money?" And I'm like, "You're literally just asking me to be your pimp."
Yeah. But having, so I don't know, I'm kind of a simp. You know what I mean? So I've been hustled. I've definitely been hustled where I'm just like.
He puts the simp and pimp.
Simping ain't easy, baby. I can't take credit for that. That's somebody's gamer tag that I played with on Xbox. But anyway, it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh yeah, so I've had those experiences. I've been hustled. I've seen.
What's
like
the most you spent
goods,
in one night?
It's only like $400 or so. It's like not a lot, dude. I like still keep it reasonable, like respectable.
That's a lot of money.
I guess. Yeah, I guess it is a lot. Yeah, but I don't know. I go there. I'm like, I got $200 for the strip club, and then and then you're like, oh fuck it, I'll go get a private. You do something silly, and you hit the ATM, and next thing you know, you're tipping out. But here's the thing. Yeah, there's certain etiquette. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs, but if you know, you know. And if you
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you in a strip club?
I mean, I've eaten a stripper out in a private. I've gotten. I thought I could have banged this girl one night. I'm like, I definitely probably could have gotten my dick inside of her. So I've almost had sex in a strip club, but I mean, I've had a blowjob. I've had my. So here's the thing. I've like fingered a girl in a strip club, which is kind of like they would almost like having your like germs and all that shit. A lot of them are real weird about germs and shit like that. Like they'll like blow you before they let you even like touch them. Definitely not licking your fingers and getting anywhere near their vagina. But I mean, I've fingered a stripper. I've eaten a stripper out before. I've gotten blowjob. Like pretty much all the things you hope happen in a private, like they do. Like the whole, like there's no sex there. There's absolutely sex in the champagne room. You just have to like, you can't, not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like you have to not be a weirdo or gross. Like I'm sure there's like very unattractive people that can't just go pay for a private. Maybe, I mean,
what's your exception?
There's definitely like hoes that'll just kind of like do anything for money, but those aren't the ones I'm trying to get privates from. I'm trying to find that happy medium where like the girl like is like, seems like a nice girl, but she definitely is hoey. You know what I mean? They're, at the end of the day, they're hoes, dude. They're doing sexual shit for money, you know? So let's call it what it is. But point is you like either you kind of learn the song and dance or you don't, and then so you can be that person who has the same experience every time where you just like, oh hey baby, like you don't, they literally see that's their entire day is them being complimented on their ass or this that, and this. So I'll say weird shit like hey, I'm really good with kids, you know, a girl like be like grinding on me and I'll whisper in her ears like, I'm really good with kids. You know, and like it fucks with them because they like they're so used to like hearing about their ass.
I think that's top 3 worst statements you can say at a strip club.
But yeah, because I fucking don't care because I'm fucking around because I know at the end of the day, like unless I'm paying a bunch of money, they're not going to be my girlfriend. They're not going to fuck me. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like get their number. Like I've played that whole song and dance. If you ever get a stripper's number, like unless you're a real like player and you can like. Or attractive guy and you just like that's something you normally do. If this is not something you normally do, believe me, dude, you getting this stripper's number is not something like she doesn't all of a sudden think you're that fucking special guy. What she's gonna do is the texters are gonna go like this. You're gonna fucking say shit and she'll be nice, and then all of a sudden you'll get like, hey, I'm working tonight, you should swing by. That's all it is, dude, is hey. It's like a direct line to hey, come in, I'm working because I know I can get paid from you when you come in. You know what I mean?
It's like they're barking.
Yeah, dude. If I spend $300 on one stripper,
strip clubs are just bringer shows.
$300 a day is $40 an hour. You're making $40 an hour, dude. Most people don't make $40 an hour. You know what I mean? So like they can on one guy make $300. They're absolutely gonna fucking text that guy. You know what I mean? But you don't learn that until you fucking have 22 years of going to strip clubs. Getting hustled, thinking like, oh shit, maybe I'll fucking hang out with this chick because maybe we had that random rapport or whatever. And then you realize like, oh, this bitch is just trying to just get me to come in and fucking spend money. Like, you know what I mean? And then you stop doing that shit and then you learn how to just like learn what it is. But with that being said, like you see good strippers, you see ones that have like good etiquette, but still make bank. You know what I mean? The ones who don't need to be like, that was 4 songs. You're like, what the fuck? Like those all sounded like the same goddamn song. Like you're gonna say next. You're gonna say, do you want one? There's certain etiquettes. Like, hey, do you want me to keep going? That's it. That's all I say.
And if you want to be a stripper, start in pageants.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the go-kart to F1.
Everything is that fucking parallel is the go-kart parallel.
That was a legendary rant, strip club rant.
I'm still not done because here's the thing. Having learned, all right, so having had all these years of experience, seeing good strippers, bad strippers, I was sitting down with this girl on the couch one day and I was like, listen, you're doing it all wrong. You can't just like go around and play the percentage. Hey, do you want to dance? Hey, do you want to dance? Hey, do you want to dance? Knowing that like eventually some guy will be like, oh yeah, whatever. If you just like that takes you 5 minutes. If you take 2 minutes and sit on that guy's lap and make him think that you want to suck his dick, you're going to take all his money.
You Wolf of Wall Streeted her pussy.
9 out of 10 times, you're going to take all of his money. You just have to invest a little bit of time in any one of these guys and make them think. But like when you're just walking around, they're just like, no, I'm going to find, like, I want someone to talk to. You know what I mean? Like like most of us know what it is, but we still want a certain level of like human interaction. You know, we don't just to completely be a financial transaction. Like we want a slight bit of separation. Let that allure of like, maybe if whatever, like I was slick enough, I could fuck her later. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You just need to give
I don't know what you mean, but
give a hint. No, they need to give you a hint of that. And you don't need to, because most guys will give $20 here, $20 there, whatever. They have a set limit, dude, and they will give that set limit to you, and they give you all the money in their pocket that they came to spend to you if you just spend a little time with them, right? But they're not. Some guys will say yes if you play that percentage, but some guys, like me, who have been there enough, are like, I'm not just gonna say yes because you came over. Hey, do you want to buy me a drink? Like, no, fuck off. Like, you got plenty of money, dude. Like, I'm not just gonna buy. That's the first thing you ask me. Some girls are like, hey, can I sit down? Do you mind if I sit down? They sit down, they'll chat you up. Some girls say, hey, can I sit down? They sit down and then fucking don't say anything. And then you're like, why am I going to get a lap dance from you? Like, just a little bit of rapport. You can have all my money. So I was saying this girl that had this rant, and she was like, you know, because I was saying, like, I could totally manage a strip club. Like, I'd be a manager of a strip club, and all the girls would make plenty of money. Because I could coach them up. Like, I'm like the Phil Jackson, you know? Like, I'm not like a player, but I definitely know what you need to do to make money. And I was just on this rant, buzzed up with this girl, and she goes, you could be a pimp. And I was like, dude, that is the best compliment I've ever had in my life, but I could never hit a girl. You got to hit a bitch to be a pimp. You know what I mean? Like, I could manage a strip club. That's as far as it goes. But, like, I could never be violent. Like, I'm a mama's boy, dude. I love my mom. Like, you got to, like, have zero respect for women.
What do you love more?
My mom or strippers?
Yeah.
Depends on the situation. Hey,
every stripper on earth is about to fall into a volcano. Or your mom. Which one are you?
I'm going to save my mom, you asshole. Fucking hey. That just means there's a lot of fucking openings, and some girls are going to be like, I can finally, yeah. You didn't say all the women of the world are following. Exactly. So that means there's a lot of vacancies in the stripper world opening up for bitches that need jobs.
Yeah.
We're thinking about it.
There's going to be a lot more creepy dudes out in society.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of parallels to stripping and stand-up, too. Like, they go up, they do their 5-minute set. They're fucking, some of them bomb, some of them crush. Like, there really is. Like, you're as vulnerable as
you're
possible.
Flapping your lips.
We are kind of naked on stage. Like, we're like, when we're really being ourselves. Like,
you're missing all the great jokes.
Because I'm on a fucking epic rant right now. What? Say the joke again. I'm sorry.
I said we're both flapping our lips.
We are, for sure. But yeah, you're vulnerable. You're like, I don't know what it is. Fucking idiot.
We
Not
did
you, me. I'm the fucking
We
idiot.
did an hour and a half.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like we are just getting into it.
I know.
I could do this for fucking 7 hours.
He has a podcast.
I don't have a podcast. Don't say that.
It's out there.
I have 10 episodes of a podcast.
That's like being like, oh, The Office isn't a TV show.
All right.
Because it's not on the air anymore.
All right. I have 10 episodes of a podcast I did, but I'm rebranding it. Eventually, like, I want to start doing it again. I'm going to rebrand it. I'm going to have different producers, all that shit. But, yeah.
I love this so much.
I was afraid we were going to have nothing to talk about, and then I realized, like, I've been sitting here ranting about strippers for fucking 20 minutes, and then I was like,
it was like a 15. It was like a 15
dude, I didn't want
minute
to
rant.
fucking talk about. This dude always ropes me into talking about strippers somehow. We probably did this the last time we did the podcast. Too,
Yeah, but
dude.
we had a lot of good shit to talk about on the podcast.
Did we talk about good shit?
We did talk about good shit.
The mushrooms did hit me a little. I wasn't tripping, but I was like, oh shit, dude, I can feel them in my chest a little bit.
No, I think this was a great podcast.
It was. Was it?
Thank you very much for doing it.
Yeah, because I'm insecure, you guys. So leave in the comments in the YouTube section.
I love this so much.
Are you gonna start doing contests though? I think Sam should do giveaways to build his subscriber base. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments section. This has been Bucked Up.
Hey,